want to talk about pickup trucks. Ever since the Ford Raptor was released, the entire segment really mutated into something different. The Raptor proved to the world that a pickup truck could also be an extreme off-road machine, a high-speed performance rig that could jump over dunes and attack pretty much anything. And what that did is that it forced everybody to start building something similar. Toyota tried with the TRD Pro editions, you had Nissan with Pro 4X, GMC with AT4, and everyone just really tried to follow Ford, but nobody was really able to take it on. I mean, yes, we recently saw the Ram TRX, but it almost took 10 years before a real competitor took on the Raptor. But through it all, there was one small truck that actually offered precisely what the Raptor offered, but nobody really kind of caught on to it. Nobody kind of realized what it was. And that truck was the Chevrolet Colorado ZR2. I remember a few years ago, I was at the Montreal Auto Show and I was seeing a Colorado ZR2, and there was a lot of fuss around this truck. I would read articles on Car and Driver and Motor Trend saying how it was the ultimate, it was like a baby Raptor and it was built to jump dunes, and I didn't really understand why they were going so crazy about this truck. From the outside, yeah, okay, it looked a bit more aggressive, but there wasn't much about it that really revealed its Raptor conquering pretensions. Remember, the Colorado is a mid-size truck, not a full-size, so it's a smaller vehicle, and I just didn't find that it had what it took to really take on the Raptor. If you recall last year on ClaveysCorner.com, I brought a Colorado Bison, which is an even more extreme version of the thing. I brought it off-roading. I threw it in the mud, in the water, and even went through some ice, and it just really took everything I threw at it. Furthermore, normally when I book a press car for these videos or when I write an article, I usually have to sign these forms and agree to these terms. And most of the PR reps will tell me, please be careful, don't scratch it, don't break it, bring it back in one piece. But for the first time in my career, when I booked the Colorado ZR2, the General Motors PR rep gave me the keys and he said, try to break it. And I did, and I just couldn't. I couldn't break this thing. And one of the main reasons why it's so solid and so capable is because of its suspension. You see that yellow component down there? That's the special suspension that makes the Colorado ZR2 such a cool truck. They call it positive, sensitive, spool valve dampers. I have no idea what it does, but apparently it allows this truck to jump and not break its entire chassis. It's built and developed by a Canadian company called Multimatic. It's also the company that built and developed the Ford GT supercar. Now, while the 2021 Chevy Colorado looks a lot more badass from the outside, I gotta say, I personally love the way this thing looks. I really don't like the interior. This is probably the worst interior to have ever been fitted onto an automobile. To begin with, I have to start it with the physical key, like in the 1990s. I have a lot of hard and cheap plastics. Look at this. Where did they come up with these plastics? I mean, we're talking about General Motors, the same company that builds the Corvette. Then there's the overall presentation. The dashboard design is very ugly. The infotainment interface works well, however. This is the strong point from General Motors. Very simple and straightforward, but obviously when you press the buttons, even the buttons crack. But obviously truck owners don't really care about a crappy interior. What they want is an actual truck. And at least on that point, the Colorado delivers. It has a surprisingly sporty handling. Its chassis is well configured. It's a lot more compliant than a Jeep Gladiator or even a Toyota Tacoma, but not as refined as a Honda Ridgeline. Obviously, the Ridgeline is unibody setup. I personally love the 8-speed transmission, a good V6 engine, ample power, and here we go. And then there's the towing rating. The Colorado can tow up to 7,600 pounds when powered by the diesel engine, because yes, this is one of the only mid-sized trucks to come with a diesel option. 7,600 pounds, I mean, that's pretty close to full-size territory if you ask me. Right now I'm driving in rear-wheel drive configuration because being body on frame and rear-wheel driven, I have an actual transfer case. I can alternate between rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive auto, 4x4 lock, 4x4 low. I have a variety of different configurations available. I'm just gonna pull over and show you what I'm talking about. So right here on my left, I have a little knob that allows me to fiddle between two-wheel drive, 4x4 auto, 4x4 high, and 4x4 low. I then have another button when I press on it with a little mountain. And what that does is called off-road mode. You can see it in the dashboard. And it says 4x4 low. You have to shift to neutral to engage. I will do that right now. 4x4 shift in progress, ESC off, and then a whole bunch of lights just turned off in the dashboard, meaning that my vehicle is ready to attack the trails. Speaking of dashboard, look at the gauge cluster on this thing. My God, look how simple. I don't think I've ever seen something that simple in a car built after 2001. Now here in the front, I have another set of interesting toggle switches. I can remove traction control, which it did automatically by putting it in off-road mode. I have hill descent control, I have trailering configurations right here. Here I can lock my rear differential and my front differential. I have more lights in the dashboard, but now I'm ready to attack the trails. All right, now we're gonna see what all this off-road gear can do. I've activated all the possible setups, and here we go. 4x4 low, of course. This is a pretty gnarly trail, and we're off. Yeah, I like the fact that this thing doesn't hide its off-road pretensions. It's very bouncy and jagged, but it's going through it. I mean, yeah, you can really just floor it. There's a lot of snow here. All right, let's keep going. This thing is amazing. It's like a little bowl. It just doesn't stop moving forward. We're in quite a lot of deep snow right now, and this little Colorado is just charging forward. I got all my settings. It feels quite invincible, to be honest. We got a little hole here, a bit of water, and we're going to break it through. All right, let's keep going. So yes, the Colorado ZR2 is a real off-road machine. I mean, as long as you're able to live with the ugly dashboard, you're going to get quite a lot for your money. What's also interesting is equipped this way. This is a fully spec Colorado ZR2. The price is $45,000. That's actually quite decent for what you're getting. I mean, you're getting a real off-road rig. I'm going to turn around, and we're back on the throttle. Whoop, kind of digging in here. It's never easy to take off in deep snow, but we're moving forward. You know, if I were to explore northern Canada, this is the truck I'd want to be in. I'd just maybe get it in a diesel configuration, because yes, you can get the ZR2 with the diesel engine. It's going to make a trail here for the other guys when they're going to arrive with their trucks. I have to say, that suspension is impressive. Look at that, just went right through a ditch. No problem. That was easy. Back into a little water puddle here. Boom, we're out of it. There you go. And we're out of the trail. The Chevy Colorado ZR2 then is the ultimate weapon of choice for anybody who wants a brawny, strong little truck to take on the elements. It is my personal favorite pickup truck on the market, and the new face makes it look even more badass. All it needs is a better interior. This thing has a very flimsy cabin. It just needs a bit more technology to really become the best truck on the market, in my opinion, at least in the mid-size truck segment. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go back in this thing and I'll go beat the crap out of it in the snow.